Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Jonasz Rawiński. One person was killed and at least 7 were injured in the latest Russian strikes against Ukraine. This time, the regions of Kyiv, Sumy, Chernihiv and Poltava have found themselves in the middle of an intense drone barrage, with civilian and energy infrastructure once again becoming Moscow's main target. In Sumy, a Russian strike hit a multi-story residential building, causing extensive damage. Footage released by Ukrainian emergency services shows firefighters working to put out the blaze and evacuate residents. Russian drones also targeted energy facilities in the city of Kremenchuk in the Poltava region, as well as in Chernihiv and Kyiv. Sumy, Kyiv, Chernihiv and Poltava have faced near daily shelling and drone attacks since Moscow launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. Now, as the US-led peace initiative continues to take shape, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is heading for a Monday summit with his European allies in London. With the initial draft of the peace plan seen as unfavorable towards Kyiv, leaders of France, Germany and the UK are pushing back against Moscow's demands and towards more robust security guarantees for Ukraine. During his latest address, Zelenskyy said the talks with his US partners so far have been constructive but not easy.
Yesterday we spoke with Stephen Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I thank them for their willingness to work together 24/7. American representatives know Ukraine's basic positions. It was a constructive conversation, though not an easy one. We continue working. Some things can only be discussed in person. Umierov and Khnatov will brief me, and I will also speak with European leaders. Meetings are scheduled in London as well as in Brussels.
And the latest comment on the ongoing Ukraine peace process, US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that he felt disappointed with President Zelenskyy. The American president claimed that his Ukrainian counterpart hasn't read the current peace plan yet, despite both Zelenskyy's envoys and Russian diplomats allegedly having already approved of the proposal.
We've been speaking to President Putin and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelenskyy, President Zelenskyy. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelenskyy hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it. But I'm not sure that Zelenskyy is fine with it. His people love it.
According to a Polish government official, the European Union has never been stronger in terms of defense and security. Speaking to TVP World, Deputy Secretary of State for EU Affairs in the office of the Polish Prime Minister, Magdalena Sobkowiak-Czarnecka, discussed the bloc's new SAFE program, which is aimed at boosting EU defense capabilities and readiness, with Poland receiving the largest single share by far.
EU never has been so strongly in the defense issues. Normally, for the European Union, the defense issues were only about defense industry. There was some kind of a division between NATO, which was responsible and still is responsible for military, and in terms of EU, it was only about defense capabilities. During Polish presidency, which has just ended in June, there came the idea that we should put some money on the table for defense capabilities. The idea came from here, from Warsaw, since we are the country being in the neighborhood of the war zone. So it was the quickest negotiations in the EU ever, because it took 72 days to have a final decision between the member states to put money on the table for the SAFE program.
Poland's National Prosecutor's Office requested a red notice against 2 men suspected of sabotage on Polish railways. 41-year-old Yevhen Ivanov and 39-year-old Alexander Kononov, both Ukrainian citizens, have reportedly managed to escape to Belarus. The men are suspected of damaging tracks with explosives near the town of Mika in the Mazovia province, as well as of a second incident in the town of Gołąb near Puławy, also on the railway line connecting Warsaw with Dorohusk at the border with Ukraine. Part of the traction network was damaged there and metal elements were installed on the track, possibly with the intention of derailing trains. The Red Notice request has reportedly been entered into the Interpol database and will likely be decided within the next few days. If granted, the two men suspected of working for Russia will be pursued worldwide. A major spat erupted on social media between billionaire Elon Musk and top officials of the Polish government. The heated exchange, which also involved one of the top allies of Russian leader Vladimir Putin, focused on the future of the European Union and came in the wake of the recent controversies regarding America's national security strategy. In one of the most popular comments on X this weekend, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk questioned some of the apparent changes which the document introduces to transatlantic relations.
As Elon Musk took to his platform X to bash the European Union,
the EU should be abolished and sovereignty returned to individual countries so that governments can better represent their people.
Russia wasted no time to team up with him, with Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, endorsing the message, a sequence that prompted the Polish foreign minister Radosław Sikorski to take the podium next.
If anyone still had any doubts about who all this anti-EU talk about sovereignty serves, it's those who want to profit from sowing hatred and those who want to conquer Europe.
Musk's post follows a €120 million fine imposed on X by the European Commission on Friday for breaching its transparency obligations under the Digital Services Act, a fine harshly opposed to by the US administration.
The EU should be supporting free speech, not attacking American companies over garbage.
This is not about freedom of expression. This is about the EU telling big platforms that they can't ignore hate speech, that they have to be responsible in how they moderate content. And the big companies don't want to hear that.
Aside from Russia, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán was among the European far-right politicians who subscribed to Musk's stance.
The Commission's attack on X says it all. When the Brazilian overlords cannot win the debate, they reach for the fines. Europe needs free speech, not unelected bureaucrats deciding what we can read or say. Hats off to Elon Musk for holding the line.
But the data tells a different story. Looking at the World Press Freedom Index published by Reporters Without Borders, the top 8 out of 10 countries on the list with the most freedom are EU members, whereas the US places 57th in a record low. According to analysts, the close relationship between Elon Musk and President Donald Trump early in his second term,
as you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA,
attracted a Republican crowd to Musk's platform and may explain the reaction that followed.
It's still a very popular network for them because of the commitment to do less content moderation, to allow more hate speech. So obviously this is a very important platform for the MAGA crowd, for certain Republican positions. And that is also why this fine has such a resonance.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk did not miss the opportunity to comment on the growing rift in transatlantic relations.
Dear American friends, Europe is your closest ally, not your problem. And we have common enemies. At least that's how it's been in the last 80 years. We need to stick to this. This is the only reasonable strategy of our common security, unless something has changed.
Tusk's message was the platform's most viewed post in the 24-hour period around the time it was posted. For TVP World, I'm Sonia Gatobiszczyn.
Authorities in Moldova accuse the Kremlin of meddling in the country's internal politics. According to the Moldovan Foreign Minister Mikhail Popsoy, the country's security services have thwarted transfers of $107 million in cryptocurrencies to pro-Russian parties across the country. The official said during his visit to Washington that all those transfers originated from Moscow. Mikhail Popsoy explained that by financing pro-Russian parties, the Kremlin wanted to buy political influence and organize protests and acts of violence in Moldova. He added that the large, blocked sum was only one example of the vast campaign of interference by Moscow. Additionally, at the end of November, the Speaker of the Moldovan Parliament announced that Russia had poured nearly €400 million into meddling in September's parliamentary elections in the country. In the end, the Kremlin's plan failed, as the pro-European Party of Action and Solidarity won 55 out of 101 seats. AI technology opens extraordinary opportunities, but also brings new challenges along, especially when it comes to artistic expression. One of the latest issues has been the prevalence of AI-generated voiceovers, where the voice itself mimics that of an established actor. Several professional performers have now decided to share their stories of adapting to a world where machine learning often crosses the established boundaries of both intellectual property and identity rights.
No i proszę.
It's time to break the bonds of the mundane and create something new and beautiful.
This man, Jarosław Łukomski, had his voice stolen.
This was a sort of like a striking experience, and I felt deprived of a part of me.
His voice was uploaded to an AI model and used in an advert without his knowledge or permission. AI voice generation is a quickly advancing market, and a Polish startup took it by storm. 11 Labs is now a multi-billion-dollar AI voice business. But this progress comes with its own set of challenges, affecting anyone working with their voice.
It actually does pose a threat already, and it's not just the type of job that I do, but also other professions.
Wrócili bez niczego, czyli bez żadnego przemyślenia.
Stories like Jarosław's have prominent radio show host Kasia Węsierska to take certain precautions. She spoke directly with 11 Labs.
I just wrote to them and I just preserve by law, copyright my voice because it's my main tool of my everyday work.
Jarosław chose a similar path, but signing an exclusive contract with another AI voice company did not protect it from being used illegally. But besides taking such steps, there's also a demand for a new legal framework.
I know that it is still not enough, but on this time, it's all I could do. My voice is my intellectual property, and every person in the world voice is still personal property, so it should be protected by law.
There are scarce opportunities to protect your voice at this time. Should the law change, I would definitely go for that. I would definitely go for securing my voice in one way or another. And that's it.
Despite the experience, Jarosław still has hope that rapidly evolving technology won't be wasted on theft.
In creating a clone of my voice, I would be making a vital part of me immortal. Technology is never bad in itself. It can be used to create good or evil. And it's the human factor that decides which way it's going to go.
AI technologies are developing rapidly, and regulators often struggle to keep up, forcing those working with their voices to adapt. For TVP World, Karolina Stolzman.
Polish swimmers won 8 medals during the European Championship that ended in Lublin on Sunday. The final gold medal was won by Justyna Kozan. Born in California to Polish parents, the 21-year-old has only been representing Poland for half a year now, and with her yesterday's victory has already beat the Polish 400-meter individual medley record.
I won. It was crazy. I don't know. I was like swimming. I was like, oh my god, I got it. So it was really great. It's crazy. I feel like it's a dream right now. I don't know. I'm really grateful, and it's amazing.
Now a dream, and maybe also a bit of a responsibility as a face, as a star of Polish team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just so grateful for everyone just cheering me on and everything, and yeah, it was an amazing time tonight.
And that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and please stay with us here on TVP World.